to kind of get this rolling. But guess what? We are on board now. We're going to be talking with Daniel Knight and Alison McMaster, and cannot wait. So I got to get those. Links out. Got to get all these links out here, and yeah, we are going to be ready to roll. All right, so I'm going to send the links over to Daniel. And I got to turn off the sound on the LinkedIn side. So that is happening now. All right, we're getting set up. We are getting set up. I appreciate everybody's attention here as I invite Alison and Daniel into this little party. All right, hang on. We are rolling right now. There's that to Daniel. And we're going to put in, there we go. Alison is saying, where is my link? By golly, we need it. Yes, we do. Okay, we are almost there. There's Daniel. Hey, buddy.
Woohoo!
Happy
Hello.
Social Saturday, my friend. I think
Hello.
that we are in business. I saw a note here from Nick, Mr. Nick the poet, the winged warrior, the Danish master. Right? That man is on fire today. You should have seen his all of his hashtags on a Victoria's post. It was awesome.
Nick Sherigan, right?
Yeah, I'm going with Sherigian, but you know what? I don't know how to pronounce his last name because guess what? I have never actually met him in person, and we have never had a V coffee because I'm on the West Coast of the United States, and that dude, man, he's in Denmark. And where is Alison? She is not here yet. I sent her the link. I don't know, Alison, come on. Maybe I didn't send it. I don't know. Maybe it didn't go through. Come on. There we go. All right. She's got it. So we're waiting for her. Can't wait. All right. So I'm going to do 2 plugs. First plug is we are sponsored by, and I did alert you to this. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to actually do a double dip on this one.
So you're telling me that we are live.
We are live, my friend. We are live because that's just how it goes. All right, so I am trying to find the right thing, and I can't find it. Well, anyway, we're going to say that this live session is sponsored by Infuse Media, who also happens to be my employer. All right, we are using their equipment and their Zoom account. And so Infuse Media is a fully integrated data-fueled demand generation engine offering a host of industry-leading solutions designed to help B2B organizations drive qualified interest. And we are hiring all over the world. So if anybody wants to know about that, jobs, open jobs, remote jobs. All right. Listen, I know that they're great. I work for them, been with them for 5 years. It's actually my 5th year anniversary. I've been getting some really nice notes from folks all over the place. And our second sponsor today is Unlike a Boss by Alexander Andrews. He is running an Unlike a Boss-a-thon. So he is contributing proceeds from the book to the book sales in August to causes that support mental health, and just running a little bit of a contest there. So we want to support purchases of that book. And Alison is still not with us. I don't know what's up. Come on, Alison. I don't know. Maybe she's having some technical troubles. We want to see her here.
We need that wonderful woman.
Yes, we do, because just you and me talking, man, that is no fun. That's just boring, right? We talk all the time. We got to get Alison on, because I got to find out about what it means to be planning luxury tours and stuff, and like how she got into that and all that. So in the meantime, while we are waiting for Alison, now who was that?
We've got a visitor.
Nice.
Hello. Welcome.
Nice. Yeah,
Thor, our friends on LinkedIn, are somewhat familiar with this dog, and he's gonna, do his thing. Sorry.
Okay, well, that's what he's doing. All right, so we might be glitched. I'm getting some a little bit of action here. Wait. Now I got Valerie. All right, so we got the typical action where I cannot see LinkedIn doing its thing. So we're gonna hope. All right. So I got Valerie, Stabina's here, Wendy's here. Oh wait, Allison asked me for the link, but I did send her the link, so I'm not quite sure why she's not getting it. We're gonna keep working on this, man. This is Social Saturday in real life. Not quite sure why she is having trouble, but maybe I don't know. We'll find out. So, talk to me about your week, man. Let's hear it. What was your favorite post that you that you wrote?
Oh, my favorite post that I wrote.
Yeah. What was the one that you were excited about?
That's a tough question. I write a lot of posts.
Okay, then which one stands out? Just like bam, right there, right? I'm gonna let you just like pull it out of the top of your head. Let's go.
So the one that really, when you said that, was actually the post I wrote last Saturday with the lemonade stand.
Okay.
I really liked that one. It was pretty cool. It's really just about collaborating with other people and how you can come together and make magic happen. Hey, there's Allison.
I'm here.
Okay. Hey, look at you. Right on. So we had a little technical challenge. It's totally good. I would be thrilled because right now my experience is, I don't know about you guys, but the live monitor page is not refreshing. It's the JavaScript or whatever runs that thing is just busted. And so I have to do a manual refresh on that to make it work. And so I'm sort of flying blind. I know that you guys are here. I'm trusting that the live is actually working because I did hear got a little note from Steven that he was having trouble finding us. But it is running off of my profile page, and hang on, I'm gonna send a quick note to Stephen Ing because that dude is the best. Page, it's really hard for me to multitask, but there we go.
So,
I sent that off to him. All right, so we were talking about best posts. So remind me of that one, Daniel. Tell me because let's hit it for all those who don't remember.
Okay, so it was the one that says, when life gives you lemonades and you don't want when life gives you lemonade and you don't want to make lemonade, collaborate and bring in your community to make whatever it is you want to make. So I actually struggled because I thought it was this great analogy, and then I'm like, what else do you make with lemons that is not lemonade?
So you can make like tarts and like lemon meringue pie and
a version of a tequila margarita or something with lemon other than lime. I don't know.
I had a whiskey ginger and it called for a little lime or a little lemon peel, right? Put that in there and kind of make it nice, right? That's all kinds of stuff.
Lemon actually brings out the flavor in all cooking, right? So like the secret sauce of a lot of cooking and anything is a little bit of lemon juice. So it just brings out all the flavor. So Daniel, I mean, you were kind of right on target with your lemon post.
Exactly.
Well, thanks. It's funny. I tried to put it to the community. He said, what else can you make with lemons, right? But I guess I should have really just reached out to YouTube and been like, hey, what else can you make with lemons, right?
That's it. What else can you make with lemons? Because man, sky's the limit. All right. So Allison, the question to Daniel before you got here was, what was your favorite post last week? Like which one really kind of resonated with you and really moved you?
Well, hold on. You said that I wrote because that's not.
Yeah. To Allison, what did you write, Allison, that you were excited about?
Oh my gosh. I have to think back to my last week of posting.
I know, isn't it hard, right? You got to really think, like, what did I put out there?
I know. I actually I have to kind of think what I put out there. I don't want to say I had a little bit of a quiet week, but I had more of a quiet week than normal.
Okay.
Gosh, Trevor, that's putting me on the spot. Something I wasn't really thinking about.
That's what we're all about, is putting each other on the spot here. Come on.
Absolutely. It's all good. I mean, I'm talking a lot these days about relationship building, community building. I think one I just did yesterday. It wasn't like a really big post, but Daniel, I think you actually had an amazing comment on it last night, which is, is community about relationships versus relationships about building community. And I put a picture up of a old Greek temple that's still standing in southern Italy, just south of Naples, in a tiny town called Paestum that like gets no traction in Italy. Nobody knows about it. And one of my kids' teachers told us to go there a few years ago. And it's the oldest Greek ruins that are still standing in Italy. And it's amazing. And I was just like moved by and thinking, gosh, what would have been like back then for these relationships and communities being built in a time, without the tools that we have today. And we're kind of really fortunate and blessed that we can all connect globally so easily. And we have this amazing platform right now that we're on, that gives us this incredible tool. And they didn't have that, thousands of years ago. So that was a kind of fun post to write. I kind of jump all over in my own feed because sometimes I'm talking about team building and relationships and community, and other times I'm like posting about awesome places to travel or places that I love to go. So it's kind of across the board for me.
Okay. Well, thank you for responding to being put on the spot. So I did have one that I wanted to share because I came sort of preloaded. Not fair, I know. But I wrote this post that I don't know, it didn't get any really much traction at all. Like it was just pretty quiet. And it was this one about like so I got this friend in real life. Her name is Shati Mukherjee, and she wrote a poetry book called, the title of which is I, and now it fell off my desk. So it's right here. I, right? She wrote this book, and it's a book of poetry. And she invited my wife and I and our kids over to do a reading. And she was talking about it, and it's amazing. It talks about her grandfather and her experience in India and her experience with Hinduism and just how that's went with her kids and everything. And it just really opened me up. It's like, wow, this is so great. And so then and she was talking about how like poetry often is how we, not just how the words are, but how they look, right, on the page. And it occurred to me, like, guess what? Every single LinkedIn post that we make has the opportunity to be poetry, right? In that way, because we shape how the words flow, right? We give them not only what they say, but how they look, with emojis and all this. And by the way, anybody listening live, it needs to get opt-in. That's awesome. I don't know if you guys use it. It's terrific. It is a LinkedIn post formatter.
Oh boy.
It's great.
What's it called? Opt-in?
AUTHED-in.
Opt-in. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Can we plug a couple other awesome tools that we're using to?
Totally, yeah. Plug them.
Opt-in?
AUTHEDIN. Opt-in.
Okay. I really like Hemingway app. That makes it so if you're writing at a 12th grade level or a first grade level. And it's funny because, we're taught to learn how to read and write all the way till we're, at 100-year-old level, but nobody wants to read at that level. They want to read at a first grade level. So I really like that one. And what's the other guy I use? I kind of didn't use that one as much anymore, but Quillbot is a cool tool. And it's a good way to kind of rephrase some things or shorten some things or whatever it might be. So really like both of those tools. And then I like scheduling my posts. I'm a huge fan. I don't know. I mean, if I didn't schedule my posts, I'd go crazy.
That's actually, I'm glad you brought that up, Daniel, because that is, so that is a Justin Welsh thing, right? Maybe it's an everybody thing, but he definitely advocates that, right? He's like, you need to pick a time to post and post at that time. If you're going to be a poster, keep your head on your shoulders there, man. If you're going to be a poster, post at a given time so that the people who follow you know when to be looking. And okay, sounds, and I've kind of like, I've tested that a little bit, asked some people. So it sounds like you're pretty on board with that notion. Because if a scheduler is going to, predictably, but it seems like you're posting all the time though. Like you're posting like multiple times a day. So how are you handling that?
Yeah, and that's more so why I like scheduling them because otherwise I'll miss it. I can't tell you how many times like I've wanted to post something and then I run out of time before my next meeting, and then I have this draft sitting there. So I have to put a note or something so I don't lose it, because LinkedIn is just so amazing at saving your posts before you post them. So I like it for that. And I really plan. I have a lot of structure to my posts during the day. I kind of like to kick it off with a theme in the morning with like something inspirational or some sort of challenge or whatever, and then I focus the rest of my posts through the day around that theme. And I usually write them the night before or in the morning. So, and I'm not, I don't have a problem sharing that. I think it's a good thing to do, keep it consistent and make sure it happens. And then kind of like make this story throughout the day. Like my whole, I think Monday was something about taking responsibility for everything that happens in your life. And you loved that post.
Well, it got my attention. That's for sure.
That might have to be my favorite one, which was probably the biggest flop as far as like, metrics and all that. But
all right, for anybody listening, please remind them what you said and how that went down.
So I said, I said something along the lines of, you got rear-ended on the freeway. This is always your fault. How can you take responsibility for that? I got private messages from so many people like, dude, are you
high? Yeah. From me. You got that from me, right? Like, dude.
Yeah. And what's funny? So I had my follow-up post scheduled about 5 minutes before it went out. You had messaged me and you made it very clear that what was about to go out was not clear enough to clarify what I was trying to say. So I hit pause on that. I rewrote the whole thing. It went out maybe a half hour later because I was like, I should make it very clear. And I still don't think it did. And it was only until I found this video on somebody else's post that I was like, this is what I was talking about.
Yeah. So, okay. That was a fun one. So I like that idea of doing like a story, right? So I don't do that really. I've been doing like one post a day, and usually it's like I'm trying to hit like 4 p.m. Pacific time, ish, give or take. And in my mind, I'm thinking that has got to be the worst possible time on earth, right? Like, but another part of me is like, well, I don't know. It's like the end of the day for like the West Coast is sort of winding down, right? They're kind of like, I got to get out of here. I'm sick of this. I don't want to work anymore. And they're just sort of checking out a little bit. Whereas East Coast, it's like, okay, well, if chances are, if, maybe you've had dinner, maybe it's just right after dinner, maybe it's kind of thinking about it. Maybe you're just kind of whipping through your phone. I don't know, like it's 7:00. So that seems like an okay time. It's not like hyper business time. I'm not interrupting people's meetings. I don't think, at least not in the US. I'm not as tuned into the rest of the world in terms of like really what that time is. But, for the, North and South America, I think it's pretty okay to be posting kind of the stuff that I've been putting out lately. So that's kind of what I'm going with, but I'm doing it all by hand, right? Because I'm trying to build a post throughout the day and trying to, invest in, in certain types of stories that I'm writing and, kind of coming up with. And sometimes it's just sort of like, God, just think of it, that moment and throw it out there. And I know there's a lot of us out here who just sort of fly by the seat of our pants. And I'm definitely one of them. So how about you, Alison? Do you plan it? Do you schedule it? What's your approach?
So I don't use a scheduling tool. I typically start thinking about what I'm going to write for the week. And I have a running list. So I have a running list and I'm always making notes about something that pops into my head. I typically, I always am making like crazy analogies with like my garden or my bees or something. So sometimes for me, it's really, really fluid. I really do love to write. And I have found that LinkedIn has provided me a platform where I can write more. So I often will figure something out and start working it through in my head. A lot of times, unfortunately, that work through is like at about midnight when I'm putting my head in my pillow. So I'm not always the best. Sometimes I'll write a whole post laying down and I think, should I get up? Should I write this right now? And I'm like, no, don't do it. And I know a lot of people would say, keep a notebook by your bed, like scribble your notes, but I I fail at that miserably. So I typically keep a running list, and then I try really hard to carve out some time at the beginning of the week. And so I can sort of pre-write at least a good format of what I want to put out, and know how it's going to go throughout the week and build up. And I usually write that just in a doc and then save them. And then I go in and put them into LinkedIn. It's probably definitely not the most efficient way to be doing it. And I could probably save myself a lot of time, but I haven't quite gotten into the fully scheduled mode, because sometimes also, well, I'm going back and forth. Should I post more than once a day, or should I just do once a day? Should I do every day? I don't feel like I have a rhyme or reason like you really to the exact time of day. My network is so diverse and spread out so far that it's really like, to me, kind of a crapshoot. Like, I don't know, if I want to hit people in Europe and in Africa, that's a completely different time than if I'm looking for the West Coast or Asia. So I don't have a secret sauce yet.
Okay.
I do try to pre-write a little bit and kind of know what I'm going to, talk about throughout the week. And then often, like I'm sharing sometimes things that I'm just reading about the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes that will interrupt what I also want to write. And so I'll like save something for another day.
All right. Well, let's talk about the industry you're referring to. So I want to hear about that, because I'm not quite sure if you mean the social media, publishing, network building industry, or the travel and like all that, because that's really intriguing.
Yeah. So no, I mean the travel industry. I work in a pretty cool space. I don't know exactly how deep you want me to go, but for those that don't know and aren't familiar with me or what I do, I plan on a big scale, corporate incentive programs, retreats, company offsites, C-suite meetings, anything that's looking to take your team, your office, a division out of the office to do either team building work or meetings that just aren't happening within the walls of your organization. And now in today's world where so many people are remote, there's a much greater need now than ever to really look at getting people's teams back together. So I like to say that I can facilitate an organization with their employee engagement programs or their leadership programming. And that is by way of sourcing, contracting, planning, managing, and executing the program from start to finish. So some companies have an internal team that does this. Some are not big enough or don't have the bandwidth. They may have someone in HR or a people's person that does this, but it's really taking away from their day-to-day job. And my skill set and my knowledge and my connections globally, which I've spent years building, can really help alleviate a pain point for a company so that they're not taking away from the HR's role. And, HR can be great at that, but they also can spend it's a lot of work to find sometimes the right property, even for a small company meeting. So that's the space I'm in. And I travel around the world all the time. I'm always at global conferences that I attend, so I can meet more hoteliers, more destination management companies, kind of runs the gamut. Like even if it's a team building company that comes in, facilitates one of my clients, we have these global conferences about 6 times a year. I don't go to all of them, obviously, and then some smaller ones that are more niche. And then I go to individual destinations to scope out a destination so that I can find a company like really the best property in said place that they want to go.
Okay, so I got a couple of questions. Let's say you're a company who used to be based in Boston, and now you're fully virtual, right? And you're headquartered now in Florida, Boca Raton, Florida specifically. And you want to bring all your people together, and you've got, I don't know, let's say 50 people. And you want to bring them together in the United States. Where would you go? Where would you host that? Like based on that? And what else would you want to know?
Well, I would want to know. Sorry, like someone keeps knocking on my door and I have no idea who it is. My kids all left the house. Okay, so I would want to know how many days you would want to meet.
Okay.
What the goals are for the meeting. If you were looking to have just general session and or breakouts, I would want to know if you wanted no meetings and just like one day of meetings and then activities that were team building. I would want to know generally the scope of where people were coming from, because, you know, even if you're Boston based originally and then in Boca Raton, but you have people all over the US, I'd want to know predominantly where people are flying in from. And then it's budget. You know, the budget can really drive where and what you want to do.
Okay. All right. So let's just say, like, where would you want to go? Like, what's your favorite place right now in the US to do?
US?
Yeah, in the US.
That's a really tough question because it's really unique to each client. You know, for
Okay.
what may be really great to me is not great to somebody else. I love being in nature. I like to be in a destination where you could have some meetings, but then also have an activity that is outside, maybe has a give back component, where there's a lot of space for people to really connect and collaborate together in a really casual environment. So for me, that's not a city necessarily, unless the goal was to be in a city. You know, I think that like Montana can be an awesome destination. North Carolina can be a great destination. Tennessee can be a great destination. Florida has a lot of awesome places too. Tertiary cities are a great cost saving measure. Sometimes they're really overlooked by companies because it's like not big enough on their radar, but there's some great places in Ohio.
Okay. Well, I know they got a great, they got
like,
great
just
theme
really-
parks in Ohio. That's for sure.
Yeah, it just really depends sort of like what the company's focus is and what the attendees needs are. And sometimes it's like, can be age dependent, you know, like
Okay.
a group of people from a company that are all 50 plus that might be in the C-suite level, you know, going to Montana might be great. Maybe it's not for the people that are like 25 to 35. I mean, it just
Okay.
kind of depends. Arizona's awesome. New Mexico.
All kinds of good places. All right,
Yeah.
right on. Well, then I appreciate that. You know, it's just it's a space. It's a job. It's a a vocation that I haven't thought about. Right. I mean, I'm a work from home B2B sales guy, right? And that's what I do. I don't travel very much. I mean, I go to trade shows. Went to San Francisco and Vegas, but you know, and we're going to go out to Florida at the end of this month, at the end of September. Sorry. And that's about, you know, that's about it. So then I travel for pleasure, right? And as much as I can, but that's been shut down. We're looking to open that up. And I did mention to you when we first met that and I mentioned this to Daniel slightly. And part of the reason why I wanted to bring you two together was because Daniel had a great post the other day. It was recently, I don't remember, maybe in the last week. And it was about like, what's your like big vacation? I want like big vacations. And I want my whole life to be one big vacation, right? So many vacations that there's this one from one to the next.
Yeah.
And it's about 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years. Would have been 2012. I had the best vacation that I ever had in my entire life, right? It was just a peak experience. My family and I, we rented a house, an Airbnb in Santa Rosa, California, for a whole month. And we got a great discount. I mean, it really wasn't like terribly expensive. And there was a pool in the backyard. It was unheated, which was pretty crazy. But you know, my kids were young, right? They were little kids. I mean, the oldest was 12. I think the youngest was, she would have been 4, right? So, you know, they were still like not teenagers and all that crazy, and just all the different needs and stuff. And it was really kind of like the last summer as a total nuclear unit that we could go. And I'm still dreaming about getting back to that, right? And we're almost there. We're just about there because now they're old enough, right? They're just like, so the oldest is 22, the youngest will be 15 in January. And well, the oldest will be 23 in November. But so anyway, so they're older, right? They're like, so they can kind of come and go, right? We don't all have to be on the same flight. We don't all have to, you know, be together all the time, but mom and dad can have a place and we can accommodate everybody. And I just like, I want to do that so bad. So next summer, I'm really, 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 really hoping that, you know, we'll be able to find a place, you know, to go and just to hang out. And if that place is like, I don't know, France or maybe maybe Spain or something like that. That would just make me so happy. I could not really stand it.
And
So
that's
when
the amazing thing, right? There's so many awesome places to go. And I mean, I'm a huge proponent of Spain and Italy. Hashtag sorry, France, but I love Spain and Italy so much. And I think I said to you in our message, like, absolutely, I'm always looking like, how can I go for a month with my kids and just be in one place? Typically, I travel so much that I'm never in one place long enough. And my poor kids always say to me, we like fall in love with a place. And we're like, we're totally coming back here. We're coming back. And they look at me and they go, Mom, no, we're not. You know that. You always tell us that. We're never coming back here. Like, you're going to choose. We're going to go somewhere different. I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah. What are you going to do? All right, Daniel, where do you want to go?
Where do I want to go?
Yeah, man. Like, what did that mean? Like, expand on this whole, like, I want my life to be vacation 100%. Right. So I want to hear about that. I want to hear more. Like, what are you dreaming of?
Well, so I could really, I've never been to Hawaii. I think that would be really great to go there and check it out. I'm very drawn to large bodies of water. I live in Utah, so the Great Salt Lake it's a pretty large body of water. I hadn't realized that until recently. I'm like, wow, it's pretty large, but it stinks up there. It's like not a place I want to spend much time around. So I'd love to check out Hawaii. Or some sort of island. Want to do like a unicorn party on an island, and that would be cool. So that would be awesome, and I went to Cancun in February, one of those, February, and that was pretty great. Like I could spend a good amount of time there. So yeah, I mean, obviously it seems like tropical. I would love to check out to Dubai. I've never been to like Paris. I've been to like the tip of France when I was in Spain for a month or so. Which
tip?
The southern tip.
Okay. Yep.
We went on a road trip like all around Spain and went through Andorra, which is this country I didn't even know existed till I was in it. Mm-hmm. So that was interesting, which is a really cool little country. Like you would never imagine, like it's just like this. It's basically a main street and it's a whole country, and you drive through it and you can make it through the whole country from Spain to France in like, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes. It felt like, maybe a little bit longer. I was like 15 at that time.
Okay.
But,
gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, I'd also love to check out, I've never been to New York. I'd love to check out Dubai.
Man, we gotta get you out, man. We gotta
I've been to plenty of places. I'm only mentioning the ones I haven't.
All right.
But those are some places on my radar. So like I said, it'd be all about just continuous vacationing, right? Like, and I already feel like, I'm building a company, so I'm working a lot, but I love it. Like, I love it so much. I can do it anywhere in the world. So like, shouldn't be long before I can start going all over the place to different networking events, throwing pop-up events, and just connecting with people. And it's so much better in person. Like, don't get me wrong, LinkedIn is amazing, but you meet somebody in person, it's like you jump a lot of levels by doing that,
Yeah, 100% down with that, man. I mean, I had a couple of in real life meetups just a couple weeks ago, Vegas. I talked about that quite a bit. It was super, super rad. And, Melissa Houston and we actually live in the same town. She's pretty famous around these parts, these Social Saturday parts. And she's very active here, and we haven't met up yet, but we're gonna. What
are you waiting for?
I don't know. She's busy. She's got stuff going on, so it's all good. So we're in connection. I'm really excited about that. And because the IRL is just totally great. And my experience with it has been like, when you meet like a good friend and you don't have to go through a whole bunch of sort of stuff. It's not like where you have to like, oh well, I'm this, and you have to like all that introductory, it's just like done. Like you just sit down, just like, well, here I am, and let's just get on with it, right? I already know you. Like we don't have to do all that other junk. It's just we can begin to relate, and that really surprised me. In fact, like when I had that experience, and so I'm excited about it, right? I just feel like, hey, Melissa just said, hey, let's go play some pool. I was like, okay, great, let's do that. That'll be fun. I suck at pool, so we can, and I'm just not really excited because we don't even have to like, I'm just like, yeah, I already know. I know what's going on. You're very transparent about your stuff. So, Allison, have you done much in real life hangouts with
So
people?
I had my first in real life this week,
Okay.
which was awesome. And just like you said, it reminded me, I feel like it's so the in real life to me is like going on a date with someone you've been dating for years or like a long time, right?
Yeah.
Because of our connection through LinkedIn. Like you said, all of the initial stuff, you're past all of it. So it's like you get to all the good stuff immediately is a great way of thinking about it. So yeah, I had my first one this week, which was great. I had to dart off to get one of my kids, so I was really bummed to leave. I was meeting with Shannon Culpepper, who lives just north of me, and we had a great time. And we're actually working. I reached out to a group of us that are all in the Northeast and pretty close together, proximity-wise. So in September, we're looking to do our first group meetup, which we're all pretty psyched about. I think I can see a nice little trend coming where we've taken our Social Saturday initial sort of group, because there's a lot of us that have been on now for quite some time and have a great connection in forming sort of regional participation in real life. And then maybe, I'm talking to a couple other awesome people who you all know about trying to do a in real life like mini conference of some sort.
And you see, you could do that, right? You know how to do that.
I can know how to do that. So I'm talking to several people and we're like starting to throw some ideas around, which is really exciting. And I think the biggest challenge, honestly, is going to be when, because everyone's really busy. So I feel like what we're going to have to do is have a in real life, in virtual component of it. But the meeting up in person, and again, this even goes back to my own job, everything pre-COVID was in-person meetings. And then it went obviously 100% virtual. And then it's gone to hybrid. And hybrid has been still really successful for people, but there's the need and the desire for people to meet again in real life and go to play pool or go have a coffee or grab a cocktail or whatever it is definitely apparent and wanted. And so like, I'm psyched about the connections that I've made through LinkedIn and what they've done for me and who I've met in real life. Only one thus far, but that's just because of timing.
Hey, that's totally great. So let's use that as a segue to the next kind of question that I want to talk about. Because if we have anybody who's still listening to us, I don't know, because I can't see anything over here. My system's totally crashed.
22 people are on with us.
Okay. All right. So what I want to talk about now is tomorrow will be 3 months of Social Saturdays for me. I've lost count. I think it's like 13 or 14 now. I think today might be 14. And not everybody digs it, right? Like not everybody's into it. And that bums me out. I mean, to be honest, because it has been such a gift to me, just personally, to come here and to create what I kind of, and William Glade, actually, his term was squad, right? And I think it's a good term, right? Is to find that squad, right? To have a group of people who, for whatever reason, and not because I overlap with them professionally, necessarily, not because I we have the same number of kids or we live in the same region or whatever. And it's just this, I don't know, it's like a mutual resonance for whatever reason. And I have really thoroughly enjoyed that, creating that community, that squad. And I'm like totally into it. So that has surprised me and has been just the main kind of driver behind my sort of sustained interest. And it's changed, right? It's, I'm not going out to Victoria's Post anymore, really, to like hustle that and try to build and try to super duper connect. And I might show up there and I did today, like, cause Nick just hit that thing so hard. If you haven't seen it, it's the best. His hashtags were so good, so well thought out.
Yeah.
So talk to me about like what continues to sustain your interest in this Social Saturday experience? So, how about you, Daniel? What do you got on that?
Uh, I would say very similar thing, and I've got very specific with the kind of people I would be connecting with, and I have like this whole unicorn DNA, which are exactly the people that I like to connect with. I put it on my profile, and I'm very intentional, like, hey, let's connect if you're this kind of person, and it makes it super easy. And I just keep meeting new people that are just amazing, and the community is super supportive. I think and I think that happens from Victoria, right? Like she started this with the right kind of people. She brought the right kind of people together, people with good hearts. And it from looking at anybody who has, founding member of Social Saturday Squad. They're great people, right?
Yeah.
She's a great person. You see it in all of her posts, super authentic. Like shout out to Victoria. The three of us right now, I mean, who knows how long it would have taken us forever to ever get together, because I know that I met both of you through Social Saturday, and it's cool because we've actually I don't know if it sounds like you and Alison have done a Zoom before, right?
Nope, we're brand new. This is it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I've met with both of you. You guys are awesome, and I was like, I got to meet these wonderful humans. So that's what keeps me going. That last sentence, the wonderful humans, because you can't. You don't know who you're going to come across, right? And I think, and that would be probably one of my other favorite posts this week was the video that I posted, where you really never know who you're going to meet. And I've connected with so many amazing people that, beforehand I was very narrow focused business owners, CEOs, head of partnerships, everybody else like isn't a fit for what I'm trying to do. And that's just not true, and by that, I mean, like, being a partner in the company and partnering with other companies and working with, all these different B2B type of businesses. But I'm just so much happier meeting with like-minded people that, have similar interests to bring positivity to the world and, share their message and help other people and uplift other people. So that to me is so much better than, a lead. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be
I mean,
honest.
there's time for leads, right? I mean, there's still space for that. Like you're not shutting down your openness for leads and for business. Like I'm not doing that. Like
Right.
I'm all in, right? But you just open up to this bigger universe of relationships, and you say, oh, well, wait a minute, I could use this formerly known as a resume repository as a way to actually have interesting, meaningful, life enriching conversations with people all over the world. Okay, that's cool. Let's do some of that. All right. Let's do that. So Alison, are you resonant with all that? You're pretty down with it?
Absolutely. I mean, before I started Social Saturday, I used LinkedIn, like you said, really for a resume repository. And I started starting to think, I should like maybe post a little bit more about like my work and whatnot. But I thought this is it felt forced and annoying. And I was really focused, same thing, like just on who did I really want to connect with. And it was, I don't want to say overly intentional, but like almost too focused and intentional. It had to be, these people had to fit this box, and would they be a good potential client for me? And I was like, it drove me crazy. And I found, I don't want to say that I found no value, but I really didn't find very much value in LinkedIn. And then I sort of stumbled across Social Saturday by way of a mutual friend of mine, actually the gal, Tanya Daub, who also has a book in sales and who I wrote about a couple of weeks ago. That post blew up. She happened to write something about Social Saturday one day. And I was like getting up and scrolling. I thought, I'll just check this out. And I was like in, and I think, Daniel, I met you one of those first couple of weeks, and it's completely transformed my life. And I don't say that lightly, but I say it really honestly, that the number of people that I now have really great connection with and that I talk to on a regular basis, whether it's via text on my own phone or on the phone or via Zoom or through Messenger, I mean, I've already had a global footprint of connections, but it's a different global footprint of connections now. And the industries are so diverse and the people are so diverse. And it's just so much more engaging. And everybody is so wonderfully giving and willing to help people. And I've never really met a group of people in my life that I feel like I could go to and say, hey, Trevor, I need help with something. And I did. You helped me with something. And
That's right. Yeah.
And like, there have been so many times where I feel like I now have a resource, especially as, you know, I work for myself and I work from home. So I'm not in an office to chat with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I have this global community now where if I have a question, I have somewhere to go, or if I need help with something, I have someone to ask, and I can get on a Zoom and have a coffee chat or something with someone I haven't yet really talked to. And everyone's willing to help. And people that I'm not looking to necessarily pitch my career to and my you know, resources and knowledge. It's like, I want to know what you do so I can maybe help you, because you never know. And they do the same thing. And I have just found that to be kind of life-changing for me. And I love it. And I am more, I would say, now that I'm as many weeks in as I am, like both of you said as well, I don't want to say I'm more selective on my connections, but I'm now more intentional of just wanting to really connect with people who want to connect and engage. And it's not about numbers and like how many followers I can get and how many connections do I have. Like the number is now not important. It got me over a really big hurdle and hump. And now I'm like, oh, this is great. I want to continue to grow, but I want it to be organically good through engagement. And like, oh, how can I help Trevor? How can I help Daniel? How can I help, you know, Andrew with his awesome book?
Right.
In Australia.
Totally.
I mean, it's like, I love to see the camaraderie that so many of us have with one another. I mean, for his book, for example, not to plug it right now, but he's doing such amazing work. And look at the like network of people he's built and how many of us rally behind him on a daily basis to help his message and his mission. And that would not have happened if it wasn't for Social Saturday. So
and we already we plugged the book at the beginning. I plugged it, right? It was he's our official co-sponsor with my employer, Infuse Media, and so Unlike a Boss is right there. And Andrew is in bed because it's 3 a.m. or something in Australia. So
but it's, you know, like he's one, like, you know, it's just, he's amazing. And without this network, though, I think it would have been harder for someone like him to gain as much traction as he does with the book.
Yeah, totally. So here's another question. Do you guys feel like you have, like your squad is pretty well defined at this point? Like you feel, you know, good, like you've got a core group that can really feel like you go to?
100%. Almost too much so that it's like, I'm open to keep continuing to meet new people and expand that squad, but it's very, specific, and exactly what I'm talking about, Trevor.
No, I totally do. I mean, you can, like, it gets hard, right? You need to have a defined group, right? And that group, that group of sort of stark raving fans, right? And people who are you're your allies, you're on your team, you're your squad. I posted a couple weeks ago, I think it was like, do you know who your friends are, right? And it was this moment of saying, like, I have all these connections and I'm engaging and we're doing all this stuff, and that's totally cool. But like, who's on the inner, right? Who do I go to like right now? And regardless of how many followers they have or whatever, just like, what are they into? Do we jive? And Daniel, you're certainly there, and Alison, we just haven't gotten there yet, right? We haven't really engaged with each other too much, and so maybe that'll emerge and develop, and here we go, right? This is a start of how you do that and how you take steps to say, wow, you know what? I don't know. I love to travel. I love to be out in the world. And I want to know more about that, and I want to hang out with people who are into it, and so, this is kind of how those kinds of things, start. I don't have a feeling that my squad is fully maxed, where it sounds like, Daniel, maybe you're kind of there, but, so one of, like, what I like to do, and maybe this is kind of crazy, but I actually will go and intentionally visit the activity page of every single person on my squad, hopefully 7 days a week. It doesn't always work, but it's kind of the end of the day, right? It takes about, I don't know, maybe 40 minutes or so, but it's just saying like, okay, did I hit their content, right? Do I know what's on their mind? Do I know exactly what they've said? And Daniel, I felt really bad. I missed your post about when you were asking for help. I did. I mean, I saw it, but it was like in the middle of my work day, and I was like, you know how it is. The notifications just rolling, and
nobody should ever. Can I just say, I get messages kind of frequently like, hey, sorry, I missed your post. Sorry, I missed your party. Or, you saying I missed the one asking for support. You guys, I post a lot. I'm talking minimum 1, usually 2 to 3, up to 10, 15 times a day. 14 times in a single day was the most I've ever done.
Wow.
I don't expect anybody to catch really any of my posts.
Okay.
I'm putting it out there for whoever sees it, whoever needs to see it, and it's there, right? I don't expect anything from anybody. So I appreciate
but that, Daniel, because both of us, because I felt the same thing. I felt like, oh shoot, like I missed Daniel's post, and he and you had a lot of traction from it, and I know a lot of people reached out to you, but I felt the same way that Trevor did. I was like, oh man, like day late, dollar short, man. But I'm here. Like, if you ever needed anything,
But what's interesting? Like, you guys were there. Like, so many people, like, even whether people commented or not, like, I knew that like your support was there, whether it was written or not. Like, and that's what's interesting. And especially when you talk about having a squad, every single person that's in that, that's part of our Unicorn Connector group, part of the chats, whatever. I didn't need to see it written to know that it was there. And that's what's amazing about having these closer relationships that are not just about trying to do business together. It's about having genuine connection, genuine relationships with people that care about you, So don't worry about it. Like,
okay,
really.
I'll let it go. Right, it's gone. Moving on. All right, so
seriously.
So speaking of moving on, we're pretty much winding. We need to probably wind up, right? So do you got any plans for the week? Anything cool? Anything exciting happening? Anything that I can do or Allison can do for you, Daniel, or likewise, and whoever else is out here still listening to us, because I have no idea. It's still crashed. Like, what's cooking? What do you got going? What are you excited about upcoming this for the next week?
I have a handful of announcements that are coming out this next week.
Exciting. Okay. All right. So I'll be paying attention to the handful of announcements. I can't wait. That sounds great. How about you, Allison? Anything cool?
Yeah, I actually have a really big announcement coming out too. So keep an eye out for that. It's really exciting. It actually all spawned from LinkedIn, which is great. Actually, there could be 2 things. So it could be a big week coming up. One might get delayed a little bit, but I'm hopeful that it's still coming through. But the other one is definitely the sort of press release has already been written. So
okay.
It's in the pipeline. It just hasn't been fully rolled out. And then outside of that, it's my kids go back to school. So that's a big week for everybody, right? So
that is a big week for everybody. Yes.
I get to remember that I can actually get maybe a full 8-hour work day in. So I'm excited about that. And I have some super big trips coming up. So that's great too. And a few places that I've never been. So
okay. I can't even imagine what those might be, but hey, I can't wait to hear all about them. That sounds terrific. And for me, school starting, that's it. Really, truly. I got nothing. I mean, I'm just pretty much just kind of doing what I do, hanging out, trying to, support whoever I can, and getting back to carousels, because guess what? LinkedIn loves the carousel. Not so much the video.
I gotta start jumping on that carousel. But
yeah, those I hate to pander to the algo, man, but it's true. It's night and day. So if anybody out there's listening and you're thinking about putting up sort of deeper content, I've done video, I've done live, I've done straight up text, I've done no photos, I've done tons of tags, I've done like all sorts of combinations. And I'll tell you what, LinkedIn loves those carousels. They just think those carousels are the ticket. So
What do you think your sweet spot of number of pages are for carousels?
ooh, good question. So I've written a couple ebooks. They're like 13 pages, and those have done well. But in terms of it has to also do with content, right? So I did a 30-page carousel for job seeker support. And it's by no means viral by anybody else's definition, but for me, it was my best post, right? In terms of just the reach that it achieved. And I think it's because LinkedIn is very interested in supporting job seeker related content because that's how they make money, right? And so they want to see support for that kind of content. And if I'm supporting that, and frankly, it was a fun post, right? Because so many people were like, yeah, I didn't know about this, or I needed one place. And I actually shared it this morning with a new connection, a guy who knows he's getting laid off soon. And I said, oh, that sucks. Here, if you just literally getting started, he's got like 400 connections. And I sent him that post. Here's a list of 30 people who are actively involved in job seeking support. And maybe you can, build from there. Start there. That's a good list. Go for it. And hopefully it'll be helpful. So, and that was all carousel. So
cool.
Anyway, there's my little observation for the day.
That post was incredibly supportive, and I'm glad that it went so well. I get messages from people all the time looking for help with a job, and I'll basically say, hey, you need to go look at Trevor's post or Jeremy Donaldson's on Fridays, because I just can't, keep up with it. So
yeah,
that's
totally.
the support I can give is giving,
Well, see, that's like third level down, right? It was like an acknowledgement, like I'm not a LinkedIn profile boss. I don't have a job board. I'm not an HR. I'm not a hiring manager. I'm none of that, right? What all I can do is say, hey, here's a list of people who know about that, right? And then you're saying, and then Daniel, you're saying like, I can't even keep track of that level. Just go over to that list. It's already there. That's awesome. See,
that's why this is so beautiful, right?
It is. Yeah. That's why this is so beautiful. So with that, it's been a pleasure speaking with you guys today. I hope that we got, lots of engagement because like I said, I have no idea. So it's been great for me. I will see you guys around all week and going forward. I can't wait to hear your announcements. It's going to be awesome. So with that, have a great Saturday. And
Thanks,
yeah,
guys.
it's been a
Thanks so
pleasure.
much.